everybody, and welcome to the OZone, live from Koreatown on another hot and steamy day in Los Angeles. How, boy, is it hot out here.
Big City.
Woo-wee! It's Big City out here, boy, as they say down in Atlanta. Wow. This has been a couple weeks. I am your host, Omar Miller. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook under either Omar Miller or Omar Benson Miller. I'm here with my brother, Terry Miller.
Hello, world. How are you doing?
That's Terry the Robot. Don't worry about him. He warms up quickly. So, man, do we have a lot of stuff to cover. First and foremost, how is your grill doing? We've been off the air, folks, because the Icon's had a drill placed in his mouth and had his wisdom tooth pulled out in 4 different places.
It's a dull headache that's still lingering, but I'm here and I'm ready to rock. Let's party.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's get it out. Oh, man, what a year 2016 is.
It's a rough one.
This is a rough one on a personal, professional level, that just top to bottom. Unbelievable. I mean, people are dropping like flies.
Literally.
I don't know how else to put it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember a year like this ever.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
One that just, you had the king, as known in the golf world, Arnold Palmer, the legend, the most famous golfer ever, passed away. And, the tributes that have been pouring in have been beautiful to see somebody who's so excellent and considered to be so great have such a long, full life and accomplish so much. I mean, everybody that I ever knew that met him spoke positively of him and about him. I'm just very happy that he was smart enough to mix lemonade and iced tea so often that they named it after him.
Great blend.
Great, that cool, refreshing drink.
I would like that one right now.
I would like an Arnold Palmer right now, to be honest.
Because it's Big City out here.
It is 102 outside, and the air conditioner just can't be enough. And then you get inside in the air, and you just want to go to sleep because the air is so cold. It's unbelievable. Anyways, back to the subject at hand. Perfection is perfect. It's all my light. I'm understand. So we're back to the king. Not Elvis Presley. Arnold Palmer passed away. Beautiful tributes all over ESPN, all over everything. And folks, don't take this the wrong way, but, for me, it's not a tragedy when a man lived his whole life and he had a full and a great life, and he made his impact and his mark on the world. And I celebrate him because of his influence on all sports. He seemed like a pretty solid guy, top to bottom. I'm not the most familiar with golf, but I know who Arnold Palmer is. But then, you look at the flip side of that and this tragedy down in Florida. You look at Jose Fernandez. I mean, the ace of the staff, the heartbeat of that team, without question.
Yeah.
And I mean, he passed away in a boat accident in the middle of the night. And I have to say, from living the past couple of years in Miami, for anybody who's wondering, hey, what was he doing out there in the middle of the night, blah, blah, blah. I got invited to be on boats morning, noon, and night, and midnight, and 2 and 3 in the morning, at least twice a week down there.
Well, they said that he offered a lot of the players on the team to go out with him that night. And,
really?
Yeah, and a lot of the guys turned him down. All the guys turned him down.
They had to play the next day.
Yeah, they had to play the next
so
day.
They thought. And he didn't. And it's just unbelievable. I don't know if this is the cumulative effect of us losing our brother, Laker Quick, Jose Fernandez, and all the other people that we know who have passed away this year, tragically, surprisingly, and even at their time, or if it's just the shock of it. But this has really been hard to digest, this Jose Fernandez. Feels like I knew the guy,
right,
and I didn't.
Right. He feels like a family member.
He feels pretty close.
And the thing about this guy, man, is that American-wise, he personified what
he is the American dream.
He's the American dream, more so than anybody that I can remember in the past. Because this guy came over from Cuba on a raft, rather,
multiple times. Had to try to make his way here.
Jumped in the water to save someone that he did not know who it was.
Turns out to be his mom.
At 15 years old, he's a man's man.
Come on, man, this guy's a stud. And don't even talk about his stuff.
Yeah, we're talking about
his character.
Yeah, we're talking about the guy's character. Man, this guy, I mean, you can't say enough about him because he seemed to have it all together as far as what you can do to come over here and take advantage of the opportunities that you have in America.
That's it.
And he came over and he did what he was supposed to do.
He had a girlfriend. He had a baby on the way. The Marlins had made a way to get his grandmother over as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just a real tragedy. And when you talk about his stuff, I mean, we've spoken about him on the cast before. This guy is lights out. Are you kidding me? This
Second
dude,
to Kershaw.
That's it. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Kershaw's so far and away the number one.
Kershaw's 4 years older than this dude.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what was he going to be? Where was he going to go? You're talking about his last start was, in his opinion, his best start. I was down there over the summer, and I'm so happy I went to the stadium and watched him deal against the Cubs. And he outdueled Jason Hamill, and he shut the Cubs down, and they won that game. The guy's, what was it, 28-2 at home or something like that? 29-2, some crazy number. He never lost at home.
Yeah.
He went and actually went up against Clayton Kershaw. Granted, Clayton Kershaw was just coming back off the injury, but he basically said, "You're not coming down here and clowning me. I don't care who you are."
Carved the Dodgers up.
He carved the Dodgers. 14 Ks?
Yeah. I think that he would have even gotten even better progressively once he got away from striking out so many people.
I agree.
Pitching to contact.
Because he'd start pitching complete games and just domination.
Yeah, because he could still get his 12 to 13 strikeouts into just a couple of innings that he would have to let up and pitch to contact so that he can go further in the game.
Yep.
Or he can give you the Kershaw, because what you don't want to do with a guy like Kershaw is to fall behind in the count. I think that he threw so hard and his stuff was so good, though, that they could never really make contact early, in the count.
His stuff was good. I mean, those anecdotes that they shared with about that Freddie Freeman shared was fantastic.
That's awesome. Right?
That was awesome. Freddie Freeman said the first pitch changeup, he took him deep, and he smiled at him the whole way he ran around the bases. Then the second pitch was a fastball. He hit it off the wall. He said Jose comes up to second base and says to him, "Hey, man, how do I get you out? What are you doing?" That's awesome. And, this goes back to one of our original podcasts when we had that conversation, like Bryce Harper was talking about the new school versus the old school. Jose Fernandez personified the new school in the sense that he loved the game. And he was super passionate about showing his love.
Right.
And not in a quiet way. He was very open and overt. And guys came to respect that as opposed to bucking against it.
Right. Because they know it wasn't it wasn't malicious intent. He was just doing it because he loved the game. He loved life, man. The guy loved life. You can watch him in the dugout. He was completely animated. He watched, even after he came out of the game, you could see him in the dugout watching the games.
You see a lot of starting pitchers when it's not their day, they're just sitting in the dugout. It's almost like somebody's forcing them to be there.
Right.
He's always on the top step. He's always in the game.
Now, do you think that's a trait of the above-average pitchers that usually do that?
I would say, for sure. It's like the successful T in school. If you sit in the front row or down the middle, there's that success rate that goes so far up, and that's just attentive students who want to be there, as opposed to people who are just sneaking into the back and just trying to do enough to get to see and get by. I'm really, really moved by it. I mean, Big Papi said some great things about him. Pedro Martinez said he had better stuff than I did.
He's being honest.
He said he had better stuff than I ever did. Pedro Martinez was the most dominant player in baseball at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, he during the steroid era made guys look like they were in Little League.
You have to be able to touch the ball.
and Pedro's not letting you touch the ball.
But Pedro, honestly, he threw 99, 100 miles an hour.
Wipeout slider.
Wipeout slider, crazy changeup.
Crazy changeup. You get carved if Pedro shows up around 99, 2001.
Right.
2004.
But Pedro didn't actually click, though, until when?
Late.
Yeah, till late.
And that's the thing. And this is what it seemed like Jose Fernandez had figured it all out early. It seemed like he was able to start figuring out how to get guys out and when to pitch versus when to throw and all that. And it was beautiful to watch. I mean, I think I got to watch him pitch live twice. We saw him at Dodger Stadium when they came down and they swept the Dodgers earlier this year. We saw him deal on the Dodgers then, and then I watched him deal on the Cubs this year. Unbelievable. Really, really just
tragic.
It is tragic. Really, unbelievable.
Going fishing
man.
in the middle of the night out there. That's just trying to get its mind clear.
Just clearing up his head.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, the team is now smack dab in the middle of a pennant race still, which I find pretty amazing, because that ceremony that the Marlins organization put on last night may have been the best ceremony I've ever seen ever.
Really?
As a tribute? I don't know if you saw it or not. It was unbelievable.
Man, they said it was impromptu.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I've never seen a group of guys so moved. I mean, I'm surprised they could play the game. I thought they were going to get blown out, to be honest.
I didn't know. I actually thought that they would, the emotions were running high.
I'm telling you, I thought before, I said, oh, wow, they're going to come out, they're going to win one for Jose. Then when they all took the field, you're talking about guys couldn't even, the faucet's wide open. Mm-hmm. I shed a tear watching it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, these guys are broken up. I'm talking about like, pass me the Kleenex. And then you see D. Gordon do the tribute to him in the box on the right-hand side with a leg kick. Then he gets up on the left-hand side and goes deep.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? If you scripted this in a movie, people would tell me, hey, man, that was cool except for that one part when you hit the home run.
Right. And everybody thinks that, he caught a pitch that Bartolo served him up.
What's the trip is even if you serve him up.
That doesn't guarantee that I'm going upper deck.
Especially when I'm D. Gordon and I don't have any power.
Right. He was talking about he doesn't even hit bombs like that in BP. He can't, he's not that hitter.
He said he knows anybody who doesn't believe in angels should believe in them now because I know I had help on that swing. Come on, dude. Are you kidding me? I mean, this world is just, it's unbelievable, our lives and, in the life cycle and the things that we choose to invest ourselves in.
Very fragile, huh?
It's very fragile and very strong simultaneously.
Yeah.
Look at these, look at what we saw yesterday. These guys, these are grown men who had such a commitment to their friend. It's unbelievable.
It's a life-changing experience. You can take that negative and turn it into a positive.
Yeah. And this is how you win in life.
Yeah.
And in sport, it's unbelievable. Really unbelievable. But moving on. I mean, what else is unbelievable to me? We got a lot of stuff to cover today. What else is unbelievable are the New England Patriots. I cannot say enough about Bill Belichick.
Man, he has a system that works.
Better even than Greg Popovich.
Yeah. But you know what? I was having a conversation with somebody earlier and we were talking about it. I still think that Bill Parcells is better than he was because Bill Parcells went from organization to organization.
And he made it happen.
He made all these organizations better. He made the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick who he is today. And now, he's retired and everybody's taken his theories or methods and, made them even better. But he can go into an organization and completely change around that culture and completely turn that organization, a losing organization, into a stone cold winner. I mean, so you can't, I mean, it's hard for me to go because Belichick is successful in New England, but do you think that he could take that same show on the road and win?
Does that actually mean that Parcells is better than him? Who knows? But I got somebody who wants to speak on it.
Bring it out.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boston Mike live on the Ozone. Where have you been, my friend?
Greetings from Titletown. All we do is win. No matter what.
No matter what, DJ Khaled moved to Boston. Who knew?
That's right. He was singing about Belichick and Ortiz.
Oh, that's what we're talking about right now.
In there.
Yeah, we're talking about.
Let's jump in. We're talking about it right now. Now, T-Bone over here feels like Parcells is still a better coach than Belichick. Speak on this.
Stop. Belichick is so superior. Next week, this Sunday, he's actually going to take a junior high school JV quarterback and he's going to start him for the Patriots against the Bills. Dude, in Bill we trust, man. In Bill we trust.
Yeah, Parcells. Because without Bill Parcells, there is no Belichick.
Oh, come on. Bill would have been a star. Cream rises.
And Bill Parcells rose all the way to about 4 or 5 organizations and to make them better. I've seen Belichick do it in one place.
Belichick has won 7 rings. He's won 7 rings.
I'm not to knock him.
Who else?
Not to knock him. Bill Parcells takes the whole organization by the throat, squeezes out all the garbage, and then he takes the whole organization to the top, and then he leaves.
Yeah, and what did he do with the Jets? And what did he do with Dallas?
He actually had the Jets looking halfway decent.
Oh, come on, please.
So Jets, talk to me.
They're pathetic. They're pathetic.
Talk to me though.
Listen.
But tell me this about Boston. Talk to me about the Patriots. What's going on in Foxborough? How in the world do you take every single quarterback that steps up and make him look like an all-star? And it's got people saying, so is Tom Brady really that great? Is Tom Brady better than Peyton Manning?
Tom Brady is the system.
I agree.
The system was developed for Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the system. He brings these guys under his wings, and then we pot them off to other teams. Look at Matt Castle. Come on.
Exactly.
Hey, Matt Castle
11-5.
should buy that guy. He should buy. He should forever buy Tom Brady's.
A beer.
Yeah. He should pay his mortgage insurance.
He can only get a beer out.
He
I
got a
didn't know-
crazy contract after he left
That
New England.
Houston game. Now, Dino Scarnecchi, thank God he's back running our offensive line. Now, J.J. Watt, I didn't realize that he wasn't on the he did DNP'd in that game because he didn't show up.
You know what?
Oh,
you know
man.
what? The thing about J.J. Watt, which he's a great defensive player, but I come to find he's like what was that? Kevin Long or whatever what it was that used to play for the Rams. When you run at him, they're not as effective.
Huh?
No,
he's
no,
good
no.
chasing.
When you get in his face, you punch him in the nose.
Yeah.
He doesn't work well.
Yes,
Kevin
He
Green.
doesn't play well with others.
Kevin
Yeah.
Green. You're talking
Yeah,
about
Kevin-
you're talking about a bully syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You run
Yeah.
right at them, and then they're not as effective.
So now starting off
he-
3-0, are you looking at a 16-0 season here, Boston Mike?
I don't want to say it, but it kind of looks like all right. No starting quarterbacks, no starting guards, both of them out. No starting tight ends, and you wipe the floor.
Wipe the
No,
floor.
no, don't say you didn't have a tight end because Bennett is the real deal.
Oh no. Bennett was, but your starting tight end, the greatest tight end to ever play the game.
Oh, you guys got
Wow.
Tony Gonzalez?
Wow.
Gonzalez couldn't carry
Oh,
Gronkowski's job strap.
There you go. You always go too
yeah,
far.
why do you
dude.
always go too far, Boston Mike? Why
Too
can't you ever
far.
just keep it
Maybe
in
Mike
context?
Dicker might be in that conversation.
Mike Dickens.
Mike Dick can leave America with his comments. We don't even want to get into that. But no, let's keep it on the Patriots. I have to say I'm really impressed, and I can't wait to see what they do with Tom Brady when he gets back because he's coming back with that fire and the vitriol.
goodness.
He's going to make the league pay. You really helped him out because you gave him 4 weeks off.
Right.
They got those pictures of him chilling in Spain with his babe.
Cannon his ass. Listen, my secret weapon for the Patriots, and this kid can play, Malcolm Mitchell. From Georgia. They picked him up in the 4th round.
Right.
That kid has wheels, and he can play football.
I tell you, I'm more
Unbelievable
impressed
player.
with the defense, to be honest.
Yeah, I am
they,
too.
They got rid of Chandler Jones and act like it was nothing. They just kept high-stepping on.
Bill Belichick is great at that.
He is great at that.
Well,
He seems to know how to
took
scout
those-
people's talent better even than the other team.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he can scout the opposing team's strengths better than even their own coach knows.
There's only a couple of guys that got rid of premature. You know, Willie McGinnis and Rodney Harrison.
No, yeah, it's Richard Seymour. I'd say he
Yeah,
left
Richard
him a little
Seymour.
too early.
Uh-huh.
Seymour,
But you can't be
I would love to
100%.
see
What can you
Seymour.
do?
No. But listen. You look at Grable. Grable was nothing, a shell the second he left here. He was an All-Pro, and then he was and listen, I love Will Fork. Will always be one of my favorite players of all time. But he's nothing there in Texas. He's not Vince.
He's
in
not the
Boston.
same. He's not the same.
No.
Because he used to plug it up.
Yeah.
And now tell me this. No team would have ever done to that Patriots squad what just happened to that Houston squad with Vince in the middle, when he was
are
out
you
there in
kidding?
Foxborough. No way. Not 400-pound Vince.
Yeah.
And by the way, why do they list Vince at 330? Why do they lie about that?
You're lying.
He hasn't been 330 since 8th grade.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the schedule. Talk to me. What's going to be the toughest game here? Maybe the Steelers. Maybe the Seahawks if Wilson is strong. Or what about them L.A. Rams back on the scene?
Listen, the Steelers have been found out. They are.
They
a
sure
joke.
did. I don't know if they're a joke, but they got found out last week.
Well, things are about to change.
their
Le'Veon
defense
Bell's
is
coming back this week.
Suspect. Yeah. Well, I tell you, the toughest team on that schedule is Roger Goodell, because he'll come up with some other way to find us to say that we're cheating or something. He's the only reason why that the Patriots, even last year. I mean, God damn, these guys. The Patriots should have won the Super Bowl last year. And Belichick was too big for his own britches, and I have to give that. He it's almost like he laid down those 3 games against Philly, against the Jets, and against Miami.
I didn't understand that. I agree with you.
It blows my mind. I think he was trying to test the team, tell them we're going to have to try to win on the road.
But what
Well, I
purpose
would
did that
take it-
serve? You went up to Denver and
did.
got worked.
They did. They got jobbed up there with a crappy quarterback.
I think
a cheating crappy quarterback.
Whoa! I think that the toughest period on the schedule is going to be the first 2 weeks of December. On the 4th, you got
Sure.
the Rams. And the Rams got a good defense. They still can't seem to put the ball in the end zone the way I'd like them to. They did better last week. But the 12th, you got the Ravens. December 12th against the Ravens is going to be a good game.
I think they're going to lose this week.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Against the Bills?
Yeah, I think the Bills.
Are you high?
Yeah.
Actually,
I am. I am.
Actually, Terry is high.
I give you
He
that.
just had his wisdom teeth pulled out, and he's on some sort of narcotic.
I can see maybe the only loss because Seattle's at home. Their only loss might be Broncos in Denver. But Bill will confuse the crap out of that young quarterback, the young rookie quarterback there, and I think that they could possibly go undefeated because I just don't see anybody else. The Rams, come on, that coach with the bad haircut, come on, Bishop.
He's got
Come
a
on,
name.
man. He's stuck in the 80s.
He's got a name. It's Fisher.
Dude, he is a loser. He has not won anything in his life.
I agree.
Dude, he's terrible. The Ravens. All right, the Ravens aren't the Ravens. Joe Flacco
they still
they have great defense.
They got great defense. In 3 weeks, they probably allowed 20 points, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, no. I won't take anything away from. But once again, it's a Harbaugh that's running the show there.
Yeah, man.
He
Them
has
boys,
the Patriots numbers.
yeah, them boys know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well,
Them brothers know
Bill
what they're
has
doing
his
over
number,
there.
too. Yeah, Bill has his number too. I mean, in that playoff game, he's the reason why that deflate.
No,
game,
that fool dropped the pass is the reason
started.
that you guys won that game.
Yeah,
and I lost money on that game, on him dropping that pass.
They beat the Patriots twice in big games.
Yeah, they sure have.
Oh no! Oh yeah, that was the one before that, but that wasn't that one. That was the. I know what you're talking
See?
about.
You think I didn't know what I was talking about? I got money on that game. I lost that game. It really hurt my feelings.
That was when they went to Indy for the Super Bowl where they lost on that pass where he couldn't catch it. Yeah.
What was that kid's name? Courtney Lee, I think. What was that guy's name?
Courtney Lee.
Mike, what was that guy's name? Yeah, Courtney Lee plays. The guy the guy on the Ravens. I can't remember his name, but he dropped the ball.
Is it not Tory?
No, it wasn't a name.
No,
they cut him. They cut him right afterwards.
Yeah, I know.
And I got a call to hang out with him in Miami. I was like, you owe me about 5 G's. I don't know if we can kick it. Yo, so listen to this. So let's switch gears. We know that you're pro Patriots. Patriots 16-0, maybe even 19-0 on their way to another Super Bowl championship.
Oh.
Which, by the way, realistically, would cement Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback of all time and would cement Bill Belichick as the greatest coach of all time.
They're already the greatest coaching quarterback of all time. We already know that.
You can never call them the GOAT while they're still playing. This is the problem that I have. And nobody's got more respect for Brady than I do. And this run without Brady has made my respect for Belichick go through the ceiling.
Right.
And how about Jimmy Garoppolo?
That's what I wanted to talk about.
You know what the only difference is? But you know what the only difference is with these guys is that we don't know what they're going to do in crunch time. We know what Tom's going to give you in crunch time.
We know what touchdown Tommy's giving.
He's going to give it to you. You can never. The game is never over.
Jimmy G stands right in that pocket.
He looks great.
And he'll wait to the left. You know who he reminds me of, and which kind of scares me, is a Tony Romo type.
No, don't say
that.
He
has a lot of guts. Both going to the same school. He's got a lot of guts, and he has a lot of talent. But he might be able to get too hurt. I think he doesn't know how to fall, and he doesn't know how to protect himself. He's only 6'2", he's a small guy compared to the bigger guys like a Brady who's 6'5".
Right.
But that really makes a difference. You got a beast like a Roethlisberger. But I mean, this kid here, he has a heart of a lion. And I think
but the body of a lamb
is the real deal too.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, I think that other kid was a real deal too. Hey man, I'm so impressed. I can't say enough about
great organization
because that's the organization. That's the organization saying, you know what? What if something does happen to Brady? I need a guy who can step in. He's not going to be Brady, we know that, but I need a guy. And then what if he gets hurt? I need another guy there who can step in.
It took the 2016 for New England to finally have a black starting quarterback.
Right.
Welcome to Boston. Well, you guys still employing stop and frisk out there? Are you guys open about it? Is it blacks and Latinos only?
Let's not go there. First U.S. Senator, first black U.S. Senator in the United States was from Boston, Massachusetts. Okay.
All right. We'll get out of the Chappaquiddick.
Slavery was Massachusetts. Okay. We'll go it.
We'll get out of it. But where I do want to go, because one of the most multicultural teams now, which was one of the latest to adopt, because if you remember being out on Ellis Island,
Pump C Green.
If you remember being out on Ellis Island back in the 90s and the 80s, nowadays the Boston Red Sox actually personify multiculturalism. and they also personify winning.
All loved.
And they're all loved.
Baby.
And I'm here to tell you, if you rewind the podcast at the beginning of this season, I've been screaming Red Sox and Giants from the top of the roof. And somehow or another, the Giants completely lost their mojo and fell apart.
And now it's Red Sox and Dodgers.
And now it's looking like Red Sox and Dodgers.
How about, do you think the Dodgers over the Cubbies, huh?
I still think the Cubs are too young.
And not only that, even if you're not,
paper tiger.
They're going to have to see.
I think the Cubs are paper tiger.
Yeah, me too.
They're going to have to see. They're going to have to see Kershaw twice at least, and no team out there is going to be able to beat him twice.
And if St. Louis sneaks in, I wouldn't count St. Louis out. They're a good offensive team too.
Pittsburgh is the one that's on the move.
But listen, how about my Boston Red Sox?
Let's talk about the Red Sox.
Something, all right?
That's what I want to hear about.
All right, we tore the heart out of the New York Yankees.
Wow.
They were 3 games back.
Wow.
They were 3 games back when we started that. But and now the Red Sox had only won 3 games that come from behind games in the 9th inning or from the 8th inning on this whole season. And then our winning streak, we won 5 of 11 from comebacks. Man. This is insane.
They got hot at the right time. They're playing their best baseball at the right time. You cannot get David Ortiz out.
No.
Dustin Pedroia is up there busting ass at the top of the lineup. Hanley Ramirez, you know what? Hanley Ramirez has been one of the best hitters in all of baseball his entire career, but you have to be able to get his mind right. He needs a Belichick type, and apparently John Farrell is that because he has him focused and he has him playing the game the right way.
The whole year.
The whole year.
He was embarrassed. See, last year he was embarrassed because he didn't want to play. He didn't want to play left field,
yeah.
And he was embarrassed.
Yes.
So he faked that injury, and that's one thing you can't do with someone like Hanley. You can't embarrass him. And they embarrassed him.
I agree. That's good insight.
Yeah.
Coming back and playing first base, I thought was a great move for them. And that was, that was Dealer Dave who put that in place last year. He wanted them to do it when he first came over here, when they fired Sherrington and brought Dealer Dave in.
Really, Dombrowski's the one who looked for that. And Dombrowski also brought in Price, who right now is lights out.
Oh, listen, in May when everybody was calling for his head, I was calmer voices prevailed because I was like, this guy is a stud. He has always been a stud. He's making an adjustment. That's it. But Hanley Ramirez in the last 11 games is down 366 with 5 dingers. And you know what? He is a legendary postseason beast.
He sure is.
Beast in the postseason.
And don't even bring up David Ortiz. Don't even talk about David Ortiz in the postseason. Forget about it. I expect a lot out of these guys, and what was huge was getting Craig Kimbrell back, and now you got O back, you got Abad out there, you guys got depth in the bullpen. The starting lineup, forget about it. You got Benintendi, you got Sandy Leon, you got Bogarts. This lineup is murderer's row. I'm here to tell you, these guys can beat you.
Ziegler, Robbie Ross, Matt Barnes. Do you know that they actually set this is their all-time record for strikeouts by their relief pitchers. They've already shattered their previous record of strikeouts in the season for relief pitchers, and I had it here somewhere. But I think it's 485 already from their relief pitchers. And you know what? They're starting pitching right now. I love Buchholz's pitching.
He looks great.
He looks great. And you know what? And I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball and took him out. I dropped the ball and took him out my fantasy championship, and it just cost me the championship.
and listen, Rodriguez is a real deal.
Oh, no question. He just needs a little guidance. But you can see when he comes out and he's focused, man, he'll shut you down. He keeps you in games. He's hard to hit. He got late movement on his ball.
13 strikeouts against that JV team in Tampa the other night. Yeah, but his ERA has been in the last 13 games is a 3.1.
Do you think they're going to be able to beat Texas? Do you think they're going to be able to beat Texas?
Come on, Texas.
Hey, man, Mike, don't underestimate the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers are legit.
The only team I'm worried about, because Texas pitching is anywhere near us, the only team that I'm worried about that can match up with us is Detroit.
Detroit is not a problem.
Detroit is not a problem. Detroit doesn't even. Detroit can't close games. When the game goes to the bullpen, Detroit is dead in the water.
But they got those 2 starters. They got those 2 starters that can be a beat.
I think Fulmer's going to be. I think Fulmer's going to tire when we get to October.
He's doing it already.
He's already doing it, and they keep messing around with everybody's pitching schedule. Oh, we pitch you, 5 days 1 week, and then 7 days the next week, and then 10 days. Same reason that Aaron Sanchez is starting to run into problems out there in Toronto. I tell you what, the biggest and best thing, in my opinion, that's happening for But for the Red Sox is that by winning this division, if they can go ahead and seal it up, they're not going to have to mess around with these one-game playoffs.
Right.
Nobody wants to get involved in a one-game playoffs with anybody from the American League East.
Right.
That's a problem. That's a serious problem.
Well, it's when they're down to one win. It's either they win or Toronto loses, and they already get the division.
Yeah. So and this is what I'm saying. There's no. This is the real win for them. This is going to be a big thing.
I want Price to stay on his schedule, though. I want him pitching tonight, and I want him to pitch on Sunday, the last game of the season, because Price on 4 days rest, his record is like 12-4 on 4 days rest, and he stinks on five or more days rest.
Yes,
you can't.
Most guys do.
Yeah. Now, do you think that he's going to finally win him a playoff game?
Oh yeah. You know what? He has to, because you know what? That murderer's row that they have.
They're going to give him runs.
Dude, he gives up runs.
Dude, that outfield is set for the next 10 years.
You're right. And you know what? You said that at the beginning of the podcast, at the beginning of baseball season, and I laughed about it because you said it was the best outfield in baseball. Now, defensively, I'm not going to give him the best outfield in baseball, but offensively, forget about it. Offensively, Mookie Betts is on another planet.
Right.
His production.
He's Mike Trout. He's Mike Trout.
He's better than Mike Trout, in my opinion. He's better than Mike Trout because he doesn't strike out 200 times a year. Or 100 times.
JBJ,
but he is in a better lineup, though.
The best defensive outfielder, center fielder I've ever seen play.
Are you high?
And I said that at the beginning of the year.
Are you kidding?
I've never seen a better.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Now, Mike, we're not even going to go into this because you're talking so stupid right now. Why do you always got to go too far?
He's the best.
Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Ken Griffey Jr.
He's better than Ken Griffey Jr.
No, better than any of those guys. Better than any of those guys.
It's been great having you on the podcast, Mike. We always appreciate your insight until you go off the rails.
Is that what it is? How about my boy Benedetti there?
That kid is the God's honest truth. Now I want to get your take on something that we covered a little bit a couple weeks ago. We've been talking about it. Young guys come up now in Major League Baseball and they produce. You look at Benintendi, you look at that kid David Dahl, you look at a lot of kids, Alamedes Diaz, you look at a lot of kids around the league, they come up and they produce. What do you think that is now in comparison to like when we were younger?
Because you know what? It's more. There's more choices for these kids. So what happens is when you get a real superstar type player, you don't have like 10 of them in the minor leagues for each team. So they have to bring them up. Because before you had so much talent in baseball because it was the sport. Nowadays you're like football. That's why you have quarterbacks starting right away too. You know, you have rookie quarterbacks coming in before they'd sit for 3 or 4 years. I just think that there's just so many choices for these people. So the cream rises to the top, and they want to get these guys in as quick as possible. You know, that's my opinion. But listen, we've got another secret weapon for the postseason is the Panda.
We were just talking about that. Yeah. Hey, and you talk about postseason. He's more clutch than everybody on the roster, really, except for maybe Dave Ortiz.
The only problem is that he's not going to get enough at bats to get back in the groove. To get back into the groove. I don't think he's going to be able to produce like that. If they could get that kid Moncada on board, though, man,
forget about
that
it. But
that kid
Pablo
is going to be phenomenal too.
You can never discount the eye of the tiger. And Pablo Sandoval showed you on several occasions he can sign you out. He can put up his ring and you need sunglasses because he's blamed up.
Yeah, but he needs at bats. Everybody needs at bats.
Everybody needs at bats. There's no doubt about it.
He just can't get them right now. Minor league season's over.
Craig is what he needs.
No, but he's got his act together.
Yeah,
he already visited Weight Watchers.
Yeah,
he almost made himself out the league.
I mean, that debacle earlier with the pop belt it went the wrong way for everybody. That was too much.
How about I don't know what Sandy Leone is on, but I want me some because
he's on that rice and beans and it's working out right. Yeah. Sandy Leone he's in there popping the ball, and you know what? He's giving you great average. I watched Sandy Leone. One thing that the Red Sox have, in my opinion, that's so beautiful, they got a great balance of power and average hitters. So you got guys that pop you and take the ball out of the park, but then you have other guys like Sandy Leone who get the big hit with runners on second and third and 2 outs. You know, or he can't go deep on them. There's fear, all right. Fear. It's in the opposing pitcher. That's where it is.
But not only that, he calls a great game.
Does call a great game.
Yeah, he does. He does. And he has a great arm too. And then we still have those two, Vasquez and we have Swihart.
Oh yeah, Vasquez. I forgot about him.
Stud catches. Yeah,
probably trade him and get another starter. Boston, Mike.
He might. All right.
It's great having you on the Ozone. We can sit here and pal around with you for the full session. But
man.
Great to have you back, man. I'm guessing your prediction on this World Series is Boston and who? Red Sox and who?
I would love to see Red Sox and Dodgers because I'd like to have to rub it into you a little bit. But I'm going to go with the. I'm definitely going to go with the Red Sox Cubs because I have family out in Chicago and I really want them to eat a little more crow. 108 years isn't enough.
Oh man, you would know. You would know. I still remember you crying like a baby in 2003 when Aaron Boone went top deck off of Tim Wakefield.
Yeah, that was only 86 years, and I swore off the Red Sox that
You
day.
did.
You sure did. That was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable.
Boston Mike, great having you, man. We'll wrap with you soon. I'm coming to the East Coast soon, so maybe I can catch some FaceTime with you.
And listen, I'll be in Miami for New Year's Day for the Patriots game. So maybe we'll be doing season 3. I am pretty buff. I could be working right next to you guys right now.
Well, we'll catch up. All right, man. Thanks for calling.
Right, peace.
What a guy.
Yeah, always great to hear from you.
It is. He makes me feel fresh. He re-energized me. You know what else makes me feel fresh and energized?
What?
My clothes that come every month from the 5-4 Club. Did you know that for $60 a month, you can get a package worth $150 or more worth of clothing that's tailored to you, your style, your look? Be a man's man. Go visit 54club.com, put in promo code Omar, get a discount, and thank me later. 54 Club, we're here for you.
Actually, I had my shorts on today.
Nice. It's good because last time you came with no shorts, you had people screaming out and about. It was weird. It was weird.
It got weird.
Wow. What a call. Covered a lot of stuff there.
Right.
Covered a lot of stuff. What about this Tyson Fury character, man? He can't get his life together. I just read something from his uncle who basically said he's been so dogged by the hate since he won the championship that Tyson hasn't been able to get himself together mentally. So he's taking this time off now to go seek some help, and he'll be back strong. And we're talking about dropping a statement maybe even today about the state of things. But that lines up this young stud, British champion Anthony Joshua, to go up against Vladimir Klitschko. What do you think about that?
I don't think Klitschko is hungry enough to fight against these young fighters like that. A guy like Fury is Fury was a head case. He looked like he played mind games with Klitschko.
They did, and it worked.
And he bought into it, but he doesn't have the physical ability or the talent really to compete with him besides on the mental level, which goes back to say that, most of sports, it's mental, and
a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because everybody's on a superior athletic level.
Right.
And you have a couple guys who stand out who are on a superior athletic level from the superior athletes.
Exactly. But Fury, man, you feel bad for him because he has mental problems, but you can almost tell that he had mental problems. The guy was out there, really out there.
I don't know. I mean, the scrutiny, I can say this, from the modicum of recognition that I've received over the past maybe 16, 15 years, I can see how it can really mess you up. There's days when you just don't feel like kissing babies and shaking hands, and I've received a lot of love. Every now and then you read a review where they say something negative, call me a fat retard, or call me fat and sassy, something, you know what I mean? But that stuff you can usually let roll off. But when people, if they're coming up to you saying reckless things, especially if you're in the hurt business and your nature is violent, I don't know how that would play for you to keep that under control all the time. It's got to be difficult, especially when you're thrust into it. He just became, it didn't like grow gradually. Like the attention that he got from beating Klitschko was a lot.
I think that he had a problem before then. Honestly,
I think so too.
Yeah, I think.
My man went and said,
loose.
"Can you feel?" He sang, "Can you feel love tonight?" After he won, he played hip hop karaoke after he won the belt. I've never seen that.
The guy had something wrong with him, dude, and it's maybe too many punches. I don't know what it was, but go out and get some help, dude.
Man, he's getting it. So good for him. I'm really happy to see guys admitting that there's a problem and going to seek help. I think that's the man's way of doing things, as opposed to stuffing your feelings and everything in the closet. And these guys, like when Ace, by the way, how about CeCe Sabathia putting together a great year for the Yankees?
And I have to eat crow because I didn't.
You said he was done.
Yeah, I thought he was done,
and he's not.
And he made adjustments. And
he sure did.
He
pitches.
And he pitches. He's not throwing anymore, and he's not throwing like he was throwing back in the day when he was 97, 98 all game.
He's keeping you in the game now.
He's keeping you in the game.
6-7. Some days he'll give you 6-7 scoreless.
Yeah.
But like when he went out and he said, "Hey, I have a problem with alcohol, and it's affected my performance, and it's affected me as a man, it's affected my family, and I'm going to get help."
And the other night, somebody ran into him on the field, and they didn't really want to see him.
If you meet CC Sabathia in person, you'd recognize you don't want to tussle with that dude.
And he wasn't giving you that bogus run out of the bullpen.
No, he wanted to fight.
He wanted to fight.
He wanted to fight.
Guess what? I'm here.
I'm here. Lot of tension now between between the Yankees and the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
It's like a Red Sox Yankees thing.
Yeah, and Russell Martin in the middle of it.
How about that?
Right?
Wow. I mean, I can understand if Joe Girardi gets some votes for Manager of the Year, because what he's done this year with bubble gum and duct tape has been impressive. I never expected the Yankees to be this competitive in that league, in that division this year. Just last week, they were still in contention for the division title.
Right.
It's falling apart.
And you can't fault them at this point for not being there.
Come on, man. Alex Rodriguez gives you nothing, and they make him retire mid-season. They get rid of all of their closers. Their starters either get hurt or don't give them anything, and they still are in contention to make the playoffs. That's very impressive. Big moves from Brian Cashman. I have to give kudos to Brian Cashman, because getting rid of those guys was critical. Getting rid of Miller and Chapman was really the key to them bringing up their young talent and making moves.
And restocking their minor league system.
Come on, man. The Yankees are going to be a force. That kid Severino can get his mind together, because he's an ace kind of guy.
Right. I don't know that he's going to ever be able to pull it together, but with all the pieces that they got through all those trades, they have a lot of room to play with.
And how about Tanaka? Tanaka's pitching with like a half a rubber band in his arm.
Yeah.
And he's still getting guys out.
Now, do you think he's going to fall apart, during this little playoff run? I mean,
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. So I think he's going to get plenty of time to rest. It seems like this thing with his doctors, he's figured out the regimen where if he gets the proper rest, he can actually still deal effectively.
I still feel like with the Asian pitchers as well is that they take them off of their normal regime.
I agree.
And then they bring them and give them the American style or way of pitching, and it doesn't work for them, changing their fundamentals and everything else.
Right. I agree. So, one thing that I wanted to speak on that I thought was great last night, speaking in the athletes taking a stance on these social issues, there was a great article on the Sporting News where they talked about how all of Colin Kaepernick's detractors, their silence speaks volumes in the wake of more black men being killed by the police on video.
Right.
When it looks like they could have been detained or stopped some other way. And they aren't saying anything. Everybody who's so upset about him disrespecting a flag, so they call it, or disrespecting the anthem, doesn't seem to have that same intensity about disrespecting human life. Which it's a great article. You can catch it over on sportingnews.com. It's really, really good article. But along those lines, last night in the New Orleans Atlanta game, you notice before the game, they did that circle of unity. And Drew Brees and Sean Payton and a lot of the guys came out, and at center at the midfield, they connected hand to hand. And there's a show of solidarity that is necessary.
Yeah, very, very important, so that it won't just be people of color, but and it's very, very necessary for everybody to be unified.
It's critical
on this issue.
It's critical for people to be unified on this issue, and I think that's the only way we're actually going to affect change and not fall into the bait and switch of division, because that's the way it keeps getting sold as if you are bringing awareness to this issue, you are automatically anti-patriotism.
Yeah.
And that is not true. That's not the purpose of the protest, I don't think, whatsoever.
I know that.
Yeah. There is an issue in the country. There's no two ways about it.
And there's no way to turn your head and act like it's not going on.
Well, and again...
you can turn your head, but it doesn't mean that it goes away.
That's true. And again, in the vein of being in the conversation of being the greatest coach ever, Greg Popovich had some very choice things to say.
He really did.
Well, he had some poignant things to say. He said that race is the elephant in the room. He understands completely why players would protest. Everybody's methodology is different, but he totally respects and understands it. And if you are not proportionately affected, there's no way you can fully understand it. And he recognizes that. I think that's a big thing when it comes to this issue, is that 90% of the athletes that everybody watches are of color of some sort of ethnicity. And there is something to be said that all of them, for the most part, understand that there's a split screen. Is that there are two Americas when it comes with dealing with authorities. And that's just plain and simply not right. That's not the American dream. We're looking at the Milwaukee Bucks president said Milwaukee is the most segregated, racist place I've ever experienced. That's the Milwaukee Bucks president.
Wow.
Come on, man. And now, listen, I shot a movie called The Express in Chicago, and I've been down south. I've been all over. I have never been to a place that I felt was more segregated than Chicago. I mean, the city is literally designed to separate races. That's just amazing to me. And then to act as though
it's not real.
It's not real is a disrespect to oneself. I've been using the analogy of for all the comic book heads out there of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but one of the ways that Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man is that he goes to get his money from an employer who doesn't want to pay him, and has the opportunity then, when that employer is getting robbed by a bad guy, to actually stop the robbery. He chooses to not stop the robbery as a means of, gotcha, revenge. And then that bad guy ends up killing his uncle. That is, that's deep. That's deep. That's Go Stan Lee. That's deep. And it's just a microcosm of how all of us are interconnected. There's no disconnect. If you believe in the disconnect, you're fooling yourself. You're masturbating. You're playing with yourself. It's not
Stop it.
Yeah, that disconnection it's not real. You have to recognize that we're all in this country together, and we're all in this thing called life together, as Prince said. We're gathered today. Dearly beloved.
All things being equal.
Come on. And so it's very interesting, and I'm very interested to see what happens in basketball. Now, did you hear what 90-50-40 had to say?
I didn't hear what he had to say, but I know that he had said something to the effect of he's backing Kaepernick, but he's going to find, a different way of doing it, pretty much. Yeah,
well, what he said, I'm going to see if I can find a video for it. I don't think we can, but he said basically he respects Cap. That's not the way he's going to protest, but he respects Cap, and also that realistically he's going to he does fear for his sons as a father when they get anytime they're getting pulled over. That's a big statement. That's the top dog there,
and it's real.
Let's see if we can find it.
I'm all in favor of anyone, athlete or non-athlete, being able to express what they believe in a peaceful manner, and that's exactly what Colin Kaepernick is doing, and I respect that. I think you guys know when I'm passionate about something, I speak upon it. Me standing for the national anthem is something I will do. That's who I am. That's what I believe in. But that doesn't mean I don't respect and don't agree with what Colin Kaepernick is doing. You have the right to voice your opinion, stand for your opinion, and he's doing it in the most peaceful way I've ever seen someone do something. What I do not like about the situation is the negative attention that has been thrown upon him from certain people, because it's not deserved. He was very educated, very smart, very candid, and very demanding about what he wanted to do, and he didn't ask anybody else to join him. And he did it in the most peaceful manner I've ever seen someone stand up and do something, so I can respect that. And things that I do personally, when I'm knowledgeable about it and I'm passionate about it, I do that as well, and you guys know when those things are, because I tell you.
Come on, man, that's King James.
Right.
And that's standing up. Just like he stood up at the ESPYs. A lot of respect for King James, man.
Yeah, man, the guy, he's an activist.
He's an activist, and he's an activist, and yet he's still a mainstream guy that, unfortunately, as we've seen over and over again, which is why they kind of tried to replace him with Steph Curry, black athletes have notoriously over the years needed to be palatable for white people in this country.
It's true. To
become mainstream and superstars, no matter how much you win. And LeBron is stepping out, and it's a beautiful thing that he's doing. That's great. He's talking about, he's talking about rights, because they are rights, and people throwing shade at Cap. I mean, they asked me. I did a talk show the other day to promote the season finale of Ballers, and they asked me about it, and I supported them as well. Then they tried to jam me up and ask me if I would actually do it. And I said, well, if it was well organized and we knew what the end goal was, yeah, I would. But I'm with King James. Everybody has to find what they're passionate about and then find a way to execute what it is that's going to affect change. in your immediate community, in the world at large. This is what it's about. And, you know, everybody wants these guys to be puppets. They want them to be seen and not heard. And I don't think that's how we get the Muhammad Alis of the world. That's how we get the epic guys who change the world, who transcend sports, aren't because they're quiet, and they aren't because they follow the status quo.
Right. And the downside is that they have to be met with hate after the fact because, you know, they didn't go along with what was going on. And
this is just something you have to wear. One
Right.
thing that I'm very proud of Cap about is that, you know what? The team vested his deal and he got his 60 or 70 million guaranteed. And now, you know what? There's a great deal of responsibility that comes along with that contract. And he's really wearing it in his responsibility to his community, especially coming from somebody who grew up in a biracial environment and could clearly see both sides of the coin.
Right. He's getting death threats. The police are, you know, upset with him, talking about they're not going to protect him and all that kind of.
He went to Burger King the other day and asked for a Whopper with cheese. They just gave him a Whopper. It says this is a serious punishment.
Come on.
Come on. But no, there's real consequence, and I'm very impressed to see guys stepping out. It's admirable. I tell you what else is admirable and tasty.
Why?
A nice, smooth, refreshing gorilla life. Straight from the jungle, the gorilla feeds off of chlorophyll, off of veganism, and he's the strongest thing out there. And you can be too. Go to gorillalife.com, order yourself a case up, folks. You can get it sweetened with honey, with agave, or you can just take it raw. Gorilla Life, life in a bottle. Enjoy. Just was reminded by T-Bone Aroni that we need to check our hotline here. Folks, if you want to be a part of the OZone, you can feel free. You can find it on my Twitter. You can call in area code 424-254-9663. That's 424-254-ZONE. Call in, talk sports, tell us how you think we're doing. And here, let's check and see one of the messages we got now.
Hey, Omar. This is Ashley Andrews. I was just calling to inquire about how can we make these athletes who are making these millions and millions of dollars, even though we force them to do community service and other various give back programs for them to, you know, give back to the community. How can we get them to become active with what's going on right now with the police brutality of people of color?
Wow, a great question, Ashley. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your participation. And really, I think that the way that you get anybody in the public eye to acknowledge the community that's supporting them is by applying pressure. I personally believe that social ransom is something that isn't used enough nowadays as a tactic. And you see it with politicians. You see it with everybody. Now, when politicians are quick to jump ship and actually bring up something that they didn't want to talk about if it's actually election season. And I think the same goes for our athletes. We have to demand of our athletes more than just the entertainment that they provide in their sport, more than the marvel there. Because whether they want to or not, they're being elevated in society. We're elevating them as signs of success, you know? And so it's critical that we make demands on that. It's the old why buy the cow when the milk is free. And I think that in this situation, if we demand from our athletes some sort of awareness and we do not accept their buffoonery in the variety of ways that we see, kind of like the stuff that we cover on Ballers, and I think it's one of the reasons the show has really resonated with people, is that there is consequence on our show. And you see, when you don't do things the right way, it comes back and bites you. And that's for professional athletes. That's for me. That's for you. That's for anybody. So thanks for calling in, Ashley. Gonna keep on keeping on. Feel free, everybody. Call in again. We're looking at a phone number to reach the OZone directly at 424-254-9663. Feel free. Ask us about anything. We're pretty knowledgeable about the sports world. Now, talking baseball here, did you see this? Wilson Ramos has a torn ACL.
Wow.
Wilson Ramos is out for the rest of the season, which means that the Nationals are out a very big stick.
And he calls the games.
He calls great games.
Man.
I mean, he can be attributed for this grand resurgence of Steven Strasburg.
Right.
That means the Nationals are going to limp into this series. Wow.
It's devastating. I really didn't think they had the firepower, though, because they're inconsistent to beat a team like the Cubs or the Dodgers anyway, though.
Looks like it's going to be Nationals-Dodgers to lead it off.
Yeah.
And the Cubs versus whoever wins the wild card.
Yeah. The wild card is a dangerous situation.
It sure is, because
that's why it's wild. You wild boy. Hey, dude, calm down. You're wild. Hey, somebody got the wild card. Who let the wild card in?
Yeah. The wild card's like the Tasmanian devil. He's just he's wild, man. He's like Bobcat Goldthwait. But I tell you, it's going to be really tough because the wild card has to play the other wild card, which means that both of them will have to use their ace, which throws that off for the 5-game series because baseball has it right.
Well, you know what? You might not have to use your ace because you might have to use your ace in order to get into the wild card.
You might. It's beautiful. Baseball just has no better time of year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You got football, you got basketball firing up, and then you are knee deep in the greatest thing ever, which is the baseball playoff season.
It's going
This
down.
playoff picture is going down. I have to eat crow. I am so impressed by the Dodgers and Dave Roberts.
Too.
I
am too.
They don't have any marquee standout one guy offensively.
Yeah.
But they get the job done. I'm so impressed by this kid, Andrew Tolles. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, well, now, is this going to translate in the playoffs, though? I think that it will because of Dave Roberts' persona. I don't really care for the way that he pulls his pitchers and everything. But in these situations that are coming up now, with the Dodgers lined up with Rich Hill and Clayton Kershaw, they're going to be tough to beat.
They're going to be tough to beat.
I mean, really tough. You have to see Kershaw 2-3 times in the series. I have to take the Dodgers.
Absolutely. And what about Madison Bumgarner? Seems like he's got some fatigue going in his arm. They seem like they have a mental fatigue on that team. You see how they struggled with the Padres?
I mean, the Padres gave them a problem.
The Dodgers start a series with the Padres tonight, and I'd be surprised if they don't go 3-0.
Yeah, and that's
with resting guys.
Yeah, that's with resting guys.
Unbelievable.
The Padres, I mean, the Giants are terrible now.
I just can't believe it. To watch them fall apart.
You just can't believe them or the Royals.
I can't believe the Royals either.
And you never be royal.
Royal. It don't run in my blood. I can't understand it. But I can tell you what, that wild card is a monster. Because really, you know what I could see happening potentially? I could see the Mets making the wild card and then getting bashed in the series.
Right.
But because they don't have the arms.
They don't have the arms anymore.
But I could see them making the wild card because the push that they're making right now is legit. And I think they have a favorable schedule.
Serious. Well, they're going to dabble in the East.
Yeah, which, I mean, like the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves East and the Marlins East.
You don't want to see the Atlanta Braves. Come on, man. Adonis Garcia.
The Braves.
Crazy.
I love it. My sleeper, I'm going to give you guys all a tip. My sleeper in fantasy for next year, and he was a sleeper this year, is Adonis Garcia. That kid hits a baseball. You hear me? And the only thing that I would say that the Dodgers did wrong, even with the resurgence of Puig, still, is that they got rid of Matt Kemp. Yeah. Is that instead of Yasmani, I could actually deal with A.J. Ellis and his 223 average, and have Matt Kemp out there and have Matt Kemp, Jock Peterson, and Andrew Tolles in the outfield. And, I mean, Matt Kemp's got 35 bombs or something, dude.
Matt Kemp is still putting up numbers.
Matt Kemp is still Matt Kemp. Ever since he left. Before he left, you remember that second half when they traded him, he got himself back together. He was just hurt.
Yeah.
And now he's down there in Atlanta stroking the baseball. Can you imagine Justin Turner, Matt Kemp, and Adrian Gonzalez with Corey Seager in front of him? That is a problem.
Yeah, they have their own little version of Murderer's Row.
Yeah. But, you know, the thing is, the Dodgers are stingy on defense, so you don't need a lot of runs now.
Yeah, and they have a bullpen.
That's what I mean, top to bottom, their defense.
Well, that's the difference between them and the Cubs to me, because the Cubs don't have a strong bullpen like that. They have two guys in the bullpen at the back end that can get it done, but the Dodgers can really fill up.
I don't really believe in Rondon.
Well, I'm not talking about Rondon. I'm talking about that Edwards kid.
That Edwards kid is electric.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
And Chapman, you know what? People are going to think I'm crazy. Chapman likes to flirt with runners on base too much.
Yeah, he likes to play with that slide piece too much. And they give him the best closer in the game, but he's not actually the best closer in the game. The best closer in the game is Zach Britton.
Zach Britton. I agree. Zach Britton is lights out. And did you hear?
He should win the Cy Young, really.
Well, yeah. Did you hear what Evan Longoria said?
No, what did he say?
He said he's like the modern-day Mariano Rivera.
Oh, really?
He said he has one pitch. He goes, he's got one pitch. We all know what it is, and we can't hit it.
I mean, that pitch dives in the dirt.
He said it's like it's at a trap door when it gets to home plate. That ball dies. That sinker, and then if you make contact, your hand is split open.
Right. It's heavy.
It's heavy. But I still don't believe in the Orioles either. The Orioles are
No.
too inconsistent. Now, I think they can win a one-game playoff against the Blue Jays.
Right. But then what do? You depend on Giovanni Gallardo?
You can't depend on Giovanni Gallardo.
I mean, and what they do as well is that they depend on the 3-run bomb. The 3-run bomb doesn't work.
I don't think I've seen them move a runner over all year.
Why would they? They're waiting for the 3-run bomb. We need another runner on, dude.
We need one more runner on.
You get the 3-run bomb. It doesn't work. Not in tight games. You're talking about pitching in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everybody
Unless you're playing against the Red Sox, at which point they don't care what you want. You want to go slugfest?
I think Boston Mike is downplaying or underestimating the Texas Rangers.
Texas
Rangers
Walker,
are real,
Texas
man.
Ranger is real this year.
And they have Cole Hamels over there, and he's not pitching that well right
and they
now.
have
but
Yu Darvish.
Yeah.
No. Cole Hamels went through his bad spell.
Yeah.
Cole Hamels just shut them out he just pitched
that's
7
true.
scoreless to win the division in Oakland.
Yeah, it's
Cole
true.
Hamels is Cole Hamels, and he's been there.
Yeah,
I believe in Cole Hamels.
he's got ice water in his veins, right?
Ice water. I believe in Yu Darvish. Surprisingly, Perez finally got shelled yesterday. But I believe that in the guys that they can piece together, if they can figure out Derek Holland's mechanics, the only guy it seems like he's got to get out of there, maybe he goes to the bullpen for long relief, is Kobe Lewis. He hasn't seemed like he's been able to get itself together. He looks like a 37-year-old pitcher as opposed
That
to...
was after he got hurt, but before he was nice.
I picked him up. I
Yeah,
know.
he was nice.
I know. Wow, it's going down. So what do you got? Baseball playoffs. Talk to me. How do you see it playing out?
Honestly, in the National League, I'm seeing the Dodgers go. I think they're going to the World Series this year. Honestly,
I think so too.
I mean, I'm not all Dodger crazy like that, but they're actually they look prime.
They look prime 112.
They look prime one tail.
They
Miles.
do. Shout out to Miles. Got to take it down to South Beach. Uh-oh.
And in the American League, the Red Sox look like they're the real deal. It's going to be between the Red Sox and the Texas Rangers. I really can't call that.
I can't either. That's going to be a good series.
Yeah, I think it's going 7.
It's going to be a couple blowouts, a couple 1-0 games.
Yeah.
It's going to be a couple, you know what I mean?
Tight ones.
It's good, yeah.
I think we're looking at 2-1. I honestly have to see David Price show up because he's the key to their run, and
is.
and I don't think that he's got it, honestly.
You got to see Clay Buchholz show up too.
Yeah, and those are like question marks that you can't have in the
Rodriguez is a kid.
Yeah, and he's
But man, they got them sticks. Boy, oh boy, do they have them sticks. And I tell you
but
what else.
everybody knows that good pitching, Yu Darvish can shut those sticks completely down.
But those guys are shutting you down for 7. The Rangers have been the comeback kids, and I think that trade deadline may end up being the difference because picking up Lucroy, picking up Carlos Beltran,
right?
He's
And
a
even
big
Cargo.
move. Even Cargo, who's getting his mind together.
Yeah.
Very disappointed in the Houston Astros.
Yeah, they fell off. And you're talking about with the Texas Rangers, man, they have a bullpen. They have that kid Bush. I mean, I'm not a firm believer in Sam Dyson like that, but they have a serious
Yeah. But they got a serious
They can bring
setup.
out arms. They bring out power arms.
They got that kid Jeffers.
You can't believe Jeffers.
He's a monster. He's a monster. But all right, folks, thanks for joining us. We won't make you wait so long next time for the Ozone.
Sorry about that. My bad.
I think the Bones Grill is together now, so rob the jewelry store and tell them make you a grill. Shout out to Powerwall. Gonna leave you with a quote here from Winston Churchill. Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Take care, folks. Life is short. Carpe the hell out of your diem. Peace.
Ozone.